Welcome the man who carries the G 24/7 from Cheesehead TV, Armen Nagler.
Carry the G Radio coming to you live on a Monday edition here, one day early, because gosh knows we couldn't wait to talk about the embarrassment, the disaster, the absolute detonation of the Green Bay Packers defense by your hated Baltimore Ravens. I'm Armen Nagler, Bill Schmid, and Armen Saryan joining me. Guys, how we doing a day and some change removed from said proceedings?
Well, I'll answer it the same way that I answer everybody on Packers OT that call and say, hey, how you guys doing? Been better, man. How you doing? Listen, I don't know if laminating is when you have that piece of paper and you want it to sit forever, right? So you put the plastic all the way around. I don't know if it's a lamination or a lamnation at Lambeau, but they laminated a performance, did the Baltimore Ravens, to give themselves a last ticket and a possibility to make the playoffs,
right?
And a performance from a visitor that's going to stand the test of time. 2 yards away from Ahman Green's all-time rushing record at Lambeau Field, the most an opponent has ever ran for on the Green Bay Packers. And Nags, those numbers only make it sound worse. But then you watch it again, and
I was just going to say, that doesn't even do it justice. You talk about a team that came in and from the opening snap of the ball exhibited way more want to than the Green Bay Packers. That's the most disconcerting thing, right? Because, look, you didn't go through this season thinking, the Packers have a dominant run defense. Like, teams have been able to chip away here and there, and even teams with good running games have had some nice gains on first down, set up kind of putting themselves ahead of the sticks. We've seen the Bears do that. We've seen a couple other teams do it. But they've certainly, for the most part this season, been able to rise to the occasion when a team has thought, okay, now we're just going to commit to a running game and we're going to – no, you're not. But, man, that was not evident in any way, shape, or form on Saturday night, where I understand, like, you're trying to limit explosive plays. But the Ravens came in knowing that's what you like to do, and they were more than content to just, A, run the ball, obviously, but B, not really try to push the ball down the field in any way, shape, or form. And it seemed like it took Jeff Hafley just a little bit long to kind of come to the realization of, they're not threatening us vertically at all.
No, they were not going to do what the Packers did, which was flip the script on what you thought they were going to do. They said, wait, you're bringing up a backup quarterback that runs? Let's flip this thing all around and let's throw 2 deep balls to start the game to the Green Bay Packers. The Ravens were like, you know what we're actually going to do? We're going to flip the script on what we've done in 2025. We're actually going to give it to Derrick Henry. Yeah. We're actually going to give the Hall of Famer the football. And he just ran at you, threw you, around you, did whatever they wanted. And Nags, again, maybe I'm just not nearly as intelligent on the NFL as I'd like to tell myself that I am when I'm at the wagering window and investing in some of this stuff. But if there was one team that I would have thought could have gotten punched in the mouth and hit a ready, set Cabo situation, it was going to be Baltimore, right? Playing with a backup quarterback. Our 2-time MVP quarterback is standing here in a raincoat. We're not giving the ball to Derrick Henry. We're not able to stop anyone. We're giving up.
Yeah, that's the thing, right?
Touchdowns to Christian Watson. And instead you gave him everything right into it with 15 and a half minutes of time of possession and 26 plays and 2 touchdowns on their first 2 drives.
The vibes around the Ravens heading into this game were very poor, right? Like, there was talk about Harbaugh's job security. There was the friction with Lamar Jackson, big column in Baltimore about Lamar Jackson's work habits, etc. And they absolutely catapulted themselves back into not only just playoff contention, but like the idea they could win the division, right?
Yeah.
And I thought that was going to be more prevalent and more obvious on the Packers side of things. They had a chance here. And look, last night's result, Bears lose. If the Packers had arrived and actually played that game against Baltimore, they had been playing for the division on Sunday.
For the division. And that's kind of probably they played like a team that was ready to pack it in for 2 exhibition games.
They
right?
really did. They really did.
On one hand, you could say, well, do either of these games really matter? I mean, they did because you're trying to win the division. Now, they did seem like a team that was okay with their spot and ready to pack. At least they played like it. I'm not sure if they coached like it.
The defense certainly did.
That's what I should say. Yeah, Malik played with 100% motivation, obviously, but he's got all the reasons for it.
Yeah.
But the defense definitely did. They seemed like a team that was ready to collect a check that week. And I think the disappointing part was that should have been a game that you're more prepared to stop the run than ever. I mean,
Yeah,
Lamar's not in. Tyler Huntley's in. So you're like, look, we know what they're going to do. Let's load them up and box them up and stop the run. Like,
now here's
wisdom that you have the advantage there.
And here's the disconcerting part, right? Like everything you're saying is true. And what if, I mean, obviously they didn't do exactly what you're talking about. They didn't, especially from the get-go, pack the box. They didn't bring numbers, like, which, okay, fine. You're going to limit explosive plays. That's what they've done all year long. But man, they've done it all year long by playing some pretty darn good run defense in the fact that they are technique driven, assignment sound.
Yeah,
man, wow. Now that's where I get to where you're talking about there, Armen, as far as I saw a lot of guys who, they're fine. Okay, we're in the playoffs. I don't need to strive. I don't need to strain. I don't need to, because we're guaranteed a playoff game. Been nice if that playoff game had been in Lambeau, but that's all gone now. And look, I don't want to sit here and say like everybody was terrible, because I do think there were a couple of guys. I mean, Lucas Van Ness has been a punching bag online, especially for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
He had a whale of a game. Like, I don't think he was an all-pro or anything, but he actually showed signs of life and actual want to. A guy who actually made a few plays. And those kind of performances and exhibits were very few and far between on Saturday.
Yeah, and the tough one was like actually doing what he was supposed to. Just a great design to be able to clean him up early before Henry's able to get it outside on that 30-yarder. Yeah. I thought the freeze frame was going to be Van Ness looking like straight into the end zone, right, and Henry's already behind him. Mm-hmm. But that would have been an unfair still shot as to the game that he played. And I thought with the attitude that you've kind of planned on seeing from him for the way that he played at Iowa, right? Like, I didn't necessarily love the pick when they took him, because it felt like such a tweener in a league that now has, we know what you're going to have. But the one thing that you could never question was that dude plays with immense passion on against the run. And you actually saw that, which was good. Listen, I had a couple of people say we'll agree to disagree. I didn't think Quay Walker was as horrible as everyone will say. He's like, well, he's making all these tackles 6 and 7 yards downfield.
Everyone hates Quay Walker. It's mind-boggling to me, man.
But when your defensive line is getting shoved, and I mean tossed 3 to 4 yards downfield, somebody's got to get the guy onto the floor. Somebody's got to get him onto the grass. And more times than not, Quay was playing from damn near behind because of how much traffic there was in front of him. And we knew the defensive line would be a problem with the loss of Wyatt, loss of other guys. But I think Nags in the, like, again, everything was on the table on a very long version of Packers OT. We went off for over like,
man,
full 2.5 hours. Yours was long too. You were over an hour.
I went long. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. We listened on the way home.
People had stuff to say, Billy.
They had stuff to say. They wanted to dump their bucket, understandably so, but there was also so many parts of it and so many layers that you kept unraveling with, of like, damn, who really would have helped against that run last night? Like TJ Slayton, right?
Yeah.
Or like you mentioned, one of the 14 defensive tackles that got taken in the draft this year in what was lauded as the best defensive tackle draft that we've seen in a decade. So there's parts of last night where you go back for the last 8 or 9 months and say, and that all kind of culminated on one night when you needed to win to keep your division hopes alive. And instead it's just getting smashed in front of you by an absolute Adonis and Derrick Henry. And that one hurt.
Yeah. And look, Henry is amazing. Obviously the production is there. It's all for everyone to see, but man, it's the way that offensive line for the Ravens and the tight ends and their whole blocking unit, wide receivers as well, just dominated physically anything the Packers were trying to do up front. I mean, it was sad. And like, look, you can talk about the wide receivers because the corners didn't cover themselves in glory at all. I mean, it feels like teams are taking, 1 week at a time. Well, this week we're picking on Keyshawn Nixon. Next week we're picking on Carrington Valentine.
Yeah.
I mean, Valentine essentially, it looked like, was about to be benched coming out of the second half, and then Kamal Haddon goes down with an injury, and they got to go back to Valentine.
Good point.
I think it's tough. It's a tough way to live when all 3 levels are getting physically dominated, and that's what happened. It wasn't just one part of it. It was all 3 levels of the Packers defense.
And I was going to mention, already decimated by injury. I mean, that's part of the problem. And you can say test depth all you want, and I think, yes, depth has been tested. And I think the Packers have decent depth, actually, but there's only a point where you can sustain it. And then next man up is fine, but there's a reason why the next man is behind the other man.
Right. That's true.
That's just the way it is. So the Packers and all these. Now, you could say this. The Ravens were a team playing for their lives this season, right? So they had to play it that way, and they had that motivation. And in that sense, they were. So they have a big game coming up, obviously.
Going to be the last game of the season now. Yeah, they're going to be playing in prime time. Aaron Rodgers in prime time next Sunday night. The Packers playing at noon, as God intended, the way it should be.
Yeah, they could have played that game at 9 a.m. In all reality, I joked at 2 a.m. 2 a.m. But that'd have been really tough on the post-game show host because that'd have been a tough one.
You would have done a morning show at that point. It would have been the post game would have been like a morning show.
Post game at like 11 a.m.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that totally works.
Brunch with the post gamers and hang out with your misery with Billy, but also like Nags, just so many parts of it and the opportunities that were still there. Like I've sat here and combed through for some ridiculous reason these notes that we take and getting Baltimore backed up on their 15.
The 15-yard line drive. Oh, my God. Talk about tear your hair out. That drive. That was it.
Now, this is one where it was a downhill run out of the shotgun from Derrick Henry. But it's like, damn, the whole year they have Baltimore has said, you know what, we're going to bring in Justice Hill. Or we're going to put Mitchell out there instead of the Hall of Famer. And we're just going to tell you we're really not that interested in running it. And we're going to try to throw it over to the skeletal remains of DeAndre Hopkins again. And like that's been a layup to get off the field. Instead, Baltimore's like, you know what, this time around we should do? Maybe we just
actually give it to Derrick Henry.
Maybe we give it to Derrick. They get 9, and then the next play is the 30-yard backbreaker. Yep. And you wake up to start the fourth, and the ball's on your end of the field. Like, that is, to me, even though the one before half is that'll pull your hair out with a 25-yard scramble. I thought that one is the one that I will have nightmares about for the next week.
And, you know, you're Jeff Hafley. You're playing, okay, we've just scored. We just got about a minute here. Let's just keep everything in front of us. Fine. They kick it into the end zone, which that's a whole nother conversation, but maybe they're afraid of a return. So they're like, okay, just kick it into the end zone. Fine. Now they've got the ball with pretty decent field position, but you still feel pretty good about the opportunity to double up. But, man, you could tell that Hafley was thinking, oh, this is a classic drop back passer. The idea that there was going to be any kind of possibility of a quarterback draw did not enter his mind because that next play where not one but two I felt bad for Quay Walker on that one. So, they got, I think it was the center and a guard, like 15 yards downfield, just blocking Walker.
Like when Nags was doing when Nags is doing mesh back at Appleton, and all you're seeing is your center guard combo doing the 2-for-1 blocking sled drill and just carrying that thing 20 yards downfield, and the offensive line coach is sitting there saying, I got. That was them. They're just carrying Quay Walker, and Armen's like, you can't let that happen. I'm like, dude, I feel bad.
There's not much you can do.
If I'd have been Quay, I would have busted out the white tape for myself and just gave the outline because there was nothing he was going to do in that spot.
To the point, that play flips the field, and now suddenly they're in scoring position. And it was just one play.
Well,
where you're supposed to be playing, quote, prevent, but all you did was open the door for that running quarterback.
They defined the whole night, though. I mean, you got physically whooped by the other side. You got made, they made themselves their daddy. Or is that the right way to say it? I don't know the right way to say it. You were daddied by them. Yeah. They physically whooped you all night.
They're your daddy.
And in some ways, it's a terrible feeling to know you're just getting out physicaled and just beat up in the front. This is football. The stronger team pushing you is going to win. That's what happened last night. In a way, it was like, this is a really depressing way to look at it, but I was like, at least I can
ahead.
At least I can like resolute this better than we dropped 3 picks and we dropped this many passes.
Right. Dropped an onside kick.
It's dropped an onside kick. Like, okay, well, we just get our butt beaten tonight. Like that's what happened tonight. And there was no part of me that said, boy, we caught some bad breaks.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda. Yeah, no, we just
at least that was easier to handle, but both are a terrible feeling. That's for sure.
It's not fun. I can tell you that. It ain't fun at all. And the worst part, let's be honest here, is how it opens the door for Bears fans to like talk all sorts of junk because now they've won the division, and now they've won the division, and the Packers haven't since 2021 or whatever it is. Oh, and now they're talking junk about Jordan Love. It's like, man, do the Packers not care about my online health?
Exactly.
Do they not understand what it is to live in these Twitter streets? Like, can you think about us for a second? Really? Green Bay Packers.
That's right.
It's about time they have your guys back.
But they don't. This is my point. Like,
that's the bad. I mean,
they need to start thinking about
this. They have your back, Aaron Nagler. They have to carry the cheese back.
You know what I'm saying?
Carry their water all the time. They should carry some for you.
I mean, at some point, one would hope.
You've been on these digital front lines.
2008. 2008, I joined Twitter. We started Cheesehead TV in 2007, a year before Twitter even existed. Man, I know what the internet's about.
Good year to start. I mean, holy cow!
Right.
Oh, yeah. Then all of a sudden, I was thinking more January because that was the last game of that year that I've watched on YouTube. Because apparently now my son has just dug into this misery loves company deal, and all he wants to watch is the Packer playoff losses. And
no.
Yeah, it's tough, dude.
How did that happen?
I don't know, but he keeps saying Packers 49ers and 49ers win. And I'm like, dude, we can't be doing this. There's too many opportunities for this to be able to see because there's so many. Like the stat.
Did you tell him? Don't worry, son. There's one coming up in a few weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, I said, don't worry. We'll get this episodic episode 9 or whatever, and we'll get to bash our heads in with those toy hammers you got for the frogs later on. But there's a spot there where you're like, whoa, there's no way that you've given up more first downs in a first half than 20. There's no way. God. Actually, you did it in an NFC title game within this last decade in 2016. The most first half first downs. 20 of them since Atlanta in that 2017. Like, it's just unbelievable.
I will say
how that game ends up stacking up with the terrible halves of football you've seen.
Don't you make me think about Ladarius Gunter? Why did
Ladarius Gunter, baby? Or how about at the end of that game when they had LaTroy Guion playing guard because they were so decimated injury-wise?
Yes, I do remember that.
I'll never forget that. LaTroy Guion, your left guard.
Well, and Jordy Nelson had to play with like 6 bulletproof vests to try to protect his broken ribs.
Oh my God,
he did though.
I had this thought. I did have this thought yesterday as I was licking my wounds from Saturday night. It is kind of fun that we're getting all of the heartbreak and all of the kind of echoes of past heartbreak out of the way. But we had the 2014 facsimile in Chicago where we lost in a very similar fashion, and then against the Ravens. We had the same type of performance run defense wise as we did that game against a couple games against the 49ers, whether you choose the one in the cold where homeboy barely threw the ball.
That was 2019 right there that we watched on
Saturday. Or go back to the game in San Francisco where they ran for 200 plus yards and Zadarius Smith is still turning around trying to figure out where the ball carrier is. It's like we've been here. Like I've had this kind of pain before. So yeah, okay. It's not the same stakes. So I'm okay heading into this kind of what's essentially going to be an exhibition preseason game for the Packers on Sunday against the Vikings. I also enjoy the fact that we can put to bed. We do not have to worry. The decision's already been made when it comes to rest versus rust, because I was not down for a week plus of should they play the starters or not. And now that decision's been made for them. Like I know Matt yesterday saying no decisions have been made. You don't play anyone in this game. I understand you have to field a team. You have to play ball. I get that. But you don't play anybody.
Yeah.
If there's any question about like their health, their injury status, whatever, you don't play a soul in this game in Minnesota. And if you do, you're suspect.
Yeah, I agree that you can't play guys that are banged up to a certain extent. You got to keep him healthy. However, I think he's in a tough spot because I think there's more than a few fans that say we have to try and get some positive momentum going into the
don't
playoffs.
Listen to those fans. Don't listen to those fans.
And that's fine. And I'm not saying I totally disagree, but either way, this is a more important game result-wise. The Vikings game, we'll get to it than it should be.
No,
it's not. But it is for some fans because when the Packers lose or if they lose, people will blame LaFleur one way or the other.
I wouldn't only say fans. I would say the vibes around the football team in the locker room of being able to put something together. Again, are they going to feel more like they can win the game against the Bears, most likely in the wild card round, if they win or lose? I don't say it's a non-zero. Like the reason is because it has been so bad as of late that it would be something. But if there is are you going to be 80% to be able to play? Well, then you are a 0% to play. But if you're healthy, you're out there playing. Like, to me, there's not a whole lot of healthy scratches to the folks that have not necessarily earned a whole lot of healthy scratches to be able to get some good vibes rolling into the postseason. But you're right. It definitely changed up the mathematics because of the Packers' own doing there on Saturday night.
Yeah, no question about it. Yeah, man, I'm just talk about watching Christian Watson go down in that meaningless game against Chicago last year.
I'm with you on that.
I sit them all. I said everybody. I don't care.
But Watson was also
MVS.
hurt.
MVS 2-3 years ago against Detroit in a meaningless game goes down, completely changes their offense against the 49ers, and they lose that game. Like, if anybody who can help you and is dynamic or as a frontline player, if you got a body that can go out there for him, you put him out there. I want Donovan Jennings to get action on Sunday. Like, that's where I'm at. That's it.
Well, that's agree to disagree. Yeah, because you do need to have some kind of positivity. You got to have some. And listen, you also
I'm going to be very positive watching Donovan Jennings get his feet wet in the NFL. That's where I'm going to be positive.
Okay.
That's me.
I know there's going to be a lot that agree with Billy, too, on this, and a lot that agree with you, Aaron. That's why I think this is more interesting than people think coming up.
I'm just glad that, we get more Packers football to get this taste out of our mouth, because that was awful on Saturday night, and they need to change the narrative around the team. There, I agree. The vibe.
Well, I'll tell you this: it's not going to change. It's not going to change if you put Donovan Jennings out there against the team that's playing full bore and has won 4 straight. You think the positive vibes are coming playing Clayton Tune on Sunday? You got another thing.
Well,
coming.
Okay, let's not go crazy with Clayton Tune. You got to play Malik Willis, obviously. I mean, you got to operate.
Is he going to play the entire game?
Well, if his shoulder holds up.
Well, you said anybody dynamic. He was pretty damn dynamic on Sunday.
Player.
I'm not putting him out there then.
I'm putting him out there. Come on now. Let's go. Let's operate on offense at least. I mean, Clayton Tune and Donovan Jennings. Now, what a great story that would be.
It would almost be like Max Brosmer beating the Detroit Lions.
Hey, there you go.
Our old boy in New Orleans. They won 4 in a row with
Tyler Shuck.
He's
Shuck,
playing out of his mind. You're talking about a guy who's really grabbed his opportunity. And yeah, no, I don't expect that from Clayton Tune. God bless him for going in there on Saturday night and doing what he could. Catch the ball next time there. Bo Melton.
That wasn't his fault. I felt bad for Tune.
No kidding.
I was going to call it. I was like, don't be calling him Tiny Tune. Anyone out there that's a Tiny Tune joke? I wasn't going to have it.
I didn't hear that.
No one was but you.
I know.
I'm glad you told everybody like yourself to shut off.
He was talking to one other part of his brain.
I was looking for any sort of tune, like joke, like play on words there.
So good. So good.
The devil talking to the angel on the other shoulder.
We got more angels and devils on the flip side. That's Billy. I'm Aaron, along with Armen here on Carry the G Radio.
We experienced some amazing sports moments in Wisconsin in 2025. Here is another one of our favorites.
As the Packers prevail over the Lions, 27-13. Green Bay 1-0, Detroit 0-1. Shotgun snap to Love with time. Pump fakes once, now throws left side. Got Golden out of bounds. Detroit 30-yard line to the far left side. Kirby Joseph, the safety, got him out of bounds. The first reception for first-round draft choice, Matthew Golden. Here's the snap. Everybody out for a pass. Good protection. Throws middle.
Yes.
Touchdown.
Oh, yes.
Diving grab. Tucker Kraft. They beat Brian Branch in the middle of the end zone, and the Packers lead it 6-0. Here's the snap to Love. Throws right side of the end zone. Touchdown. Jaden Reed. Right corner of the end zone. They beat Terry Ann Arnold again in a Lambeau leap to the north end zone stands. For Jaden Reed, it's 16-3 Green Bay. Slot right, St. Brown to the slot right side from the shotgun. Here's the snap to Jared Goff. Quick throw right side.
Yes!
Interception.
Yes!
Diving interception for the Green Bay Packers. Evan Williams. Here's the handoff. Jacobs cuts it back to the end zone.
Yes!
Touchdown.
Standing up.
Off the left side of the line, Jacobs cut it back to the right. It's 23-6 Green Bay. Goff takes the shotgun snap, rolls right out of the pocket, chased from behind by Parsons, and a sack. Micah Parsons registers the sack back at the 31-yard line, and the Parsons project is underway in Green Bay. Single receiver wide left, St. Brown motion, snap to Goff, Rush on, Goff looking, he's hit, he's sacked, and there is your dagger delivered by Devontae Wyatt. Victory formation drops to a knee, and that will do it. Green Bay Packers led from start to finish. What a day. Micah Parsons got his first sack as a member of the Packers. Wow. Matthew Golden caught his first pass, and Jordan Love was outstanding in this ball game as the Packers prevail over the Lions 27-13. Green Bay 1-0, Detroit 0-1.
Excited for more magical moments in 2026. Happy New Year from the game.
We gon' celebrate and have a good time. It's time.
Saving energy saves you money. Whether you switch to Energy Star light bulbs, install Energy Star windows, or add extra insulation. Learn more at EnergySavers.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Energy and the Ad Council.
Now, a year in rock spotlight from 1976.
Bob Dylan releases his album Desire. It goes to #1 in the States, thanks mainly to significant radio airplay for the single Hurricane.
Couldn't help but make me feel ashamed to live in a land where justice is a game.
Scottish sensations the Bay City Rollers finally score a hit in the U.S. with the #1 single Saturday Night.
Saturday
In February, former Steve Miller Band member Boz Scaggs has a #2 U.S. album with Silk Degrees. Peter Frampton hits #1 with his double live album Frampton Comes Alive. It would become the best-selling album of 1976.
I want you, show me the way, every day. I want you, show me the way, night and day.
In March, Irish hard rockers Thin Lizzy's 6th album Jailbreak scores them a #12 hit single with The Boys Are Back in Town.
The boys are back in town again. Been hanging down at the most.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1976 coming up.
Here are the top Nicki Minaj songs you've thumbed up. #3, Bed featuring Ariana Grande.
Got a bed, put your name on it. Put your name on it. Got a kiss, put your name on it. Put your name on it.
#2, Barbie Dreams.
Dreams of one of these little rappers. I'm just playing, I'm saying. Dreams of one of these little rappers. I'm just playing, I'm saying. Dreams of one of these little rappers. I'm just playing, but I'm saying.
#1, Chong Lee.
I've been on, you been con, Bentley tints on, Fendi prints on. Ayo, I've been off, Laura been Croft. Place say Chung Lee, drop the bins off.
Hear more from Nicki Minaj and similar artists now. Search for Nicki Minaj on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
Carrying on with Carry the G Radio here on a Monday, a very special day, getting ready for the close of the season. Your Packers traveling to Minnesota to take on the Vikings. Carry the G Radio brought to you by ThedaCare. Football season is all about action, and sometimes injuries happen. Whether it's a sprain, strain, or something more serious, ThedaCare Orthopedic Care is here to help. Their team offers expert care for bones, joints, and muscles so you can get back to doing what you love on the field or in the stands. Don't let pain sideline you. ThedaCare, proud sponsor of Carry the G Radio. And let's take a look at this week's heart-stopping play of the week. Guys, I don't know about you, but I did find it almost humorous how we talked about the quarterback draw from the Ravens at the end of the first half, and their guy waltzes downfield for like a 30-plus yard gain. We run a quarterback draw down near the red zone, and Malik Willis has to turn into Superman, bouncing off guys, spin moves just to gain a first down. But that's exactly what he did. I will say, I thought he was dead to rights 3 times on that play. For all of his exploits, phenomenal work through the air, big touchdown runs with his legs. That play, to me, you talk about everything this kid is about. Never give up, totally dynamic athlete. That showed everything from Malik Willis. That was such a phenomenal play. Obviously, sucks it comes in a losing cause as far as the game itself. But, man, that play and really his whole night, just outstanding. And you'd love to see it for a guy who has clearly worked his ass off to get to this point where he is going to be, no doubt, a sought-after free agent this offseason.
Yeah, and Nags, that's where I've pushed back. The heart-stopping play ended up being a very heart-pumping play because it was one where the blood started flowing. Like, oh my God, there is some life and there's some love and some fight here. Because with the amount of pack it in conversation, I would say that strictly for one side of the football. I did think the offense came in pretty damn ready to roll and play and fought their ass off, knowing it was Malik Willis's best opportunity to put something on tape in a standalone night game with playoff implications, right? So, like, I do give some real love to talk about a little bit of a battered unit on offense. I thought they protected decently well. I thought they weren't called upon to run because they were down the entire game. But I don't know that they were really going to be able to either way. But they played hard and they were really well prepared on offense. It just sucks that the other side of the football just doesn't arrive to the party and be complicit in it, because it would have been a great night to make the real Malik Willis game. And that one would have been a whole lot better than winning 16-13 against Anthony Richardson, who I think makes 4 more starts in his NFL career last year.
Yeah. And you're spot on as far as LaFleur even admitted yesterday. You know, there were a couple runs early in the game where we were like not getting any kind of push and there was no daylight for any of the backs. And he's just said, screw it. We're going to the air, you know? And look, I'm happy for that decision, but where is that the rest of the season? Like, I get it. He thinks it's going to be a shootout. They go down 14-7 and then they go for it on 4th down and then 17-7, etc. But man, it's like, why does it take that kind of moment for him to, loosen the reins, so to speak? I mean, they come out gunning. That big shot up the left sideline to Romeo Doubs, which, by the way, I very much appreciated that, because you got to think Doubs has had a week, right?
Yep.
After everything that happened in Chicago, everyone talking about it, everybody talking about him, etc. To open the game with a shot play to Romeo, I loved the call, and I love that Romeo executed it and got that moment to kind of maybe somewhat get that monkey off his back and go play ball.
I loved it. I loved every bit of it, because it also emphasized a need probably in the locker room to double down on, hey man, this is still going to be our guy, right? Like Rich Bisaccia said, he's going to be back out there, right? And he's going to be, if we have a hands team situation, he can be out there. But it was also for the offense to say, hey, he's going to be out here because he's maybe our best receiver, right? Like he's maybe our surest-handed receiver. And then for Christian Watson to just be as dynamic of a playmaker as he was, probably won a lot of people some fantasy championships this weekend, or probably lost a bunch of them for some idiot that was driving up I-43 and was like, you know what? There's no way they're throwing it. There's just no way they're throwing it. The wind is pretty serious. It looks like it's going to start raining. And sat him for Kyle Monunga. That was a great decision. Make sure you have that dump button ready.
Oh, feeling frustrated there, Billy?
Only a little. Only a little. But the one that really would trip your trigger, and the one that Armen knows, and I'll send you a screenshot of it, is that I had a long pieced together winner at the Potawatomi Sportsbook that turned loser because we decided to not kick extra points now. Like now we don't punt, we don't kick field goals, we don't kick extra points. Even if you are in a situation where you have given up 17 yards and the opponent has not completed a forward pass in the second half, we just say, you know what? No, we got to win it right now.
We're talking Bills Eagles here, right? We're talking Bills Eagles here.
Yes, that was exactly what we were talking about. Yeah, that was exactly what we were talking about. One of those situations, one of those great situations that reemphasizes and points out, because we do only get frustrated with one team, because a lot of times we watch one team, right? And the coaching malpractice or malfeasance, as our friend Larry McCarron would like to say, malfeasance.
Malfeasance.
We always only see one coach. We're like, this guy sucks at managing the clock. This guy never has his team ready to play. And man, you watch the rest of the NFL.
And then literally every fan base is miserable with I
don't know anybody likes watching this stuff.
No.
I don't think anybody actually likes watching their favorite team, because everybody hates everything their coaching
No
staff
fan
does.
base.
It's awesome
Yeah,
to be able to witness.
No fan base is really happy. It
Although
seems like.
I'll say, I think 49ers fans are pretty happy with Shanahan.
Sure,
I mean,
the short term, yeah.
You
But
give,
they're
no. Like, what's so funny though, to that point, Armen, they are out there. It's on the internet. You can go look at it. People who said earlier this season, "Oh well, Shanahan's time has run its course, etc. Like he should be out of here." And now look at them. Now, it's
they won a game last night.
Big game last night. Now you can look at Saleh and go, "Your unit, what's going on here, my guy?" But amazing call at the end. 2-man rush with a spy on Caleb Williams was an inspired call, I will admit. But it is funny how that wind shifts as soon as winning starts happening, right? Like, I get it. The drumbeat is going now because the Packers have lost 3 in a row. So now the LaFleur stuff starts up. It feels like a broken dance at this point that we always have to kind of trot through. But I'm here to say, in no way, shape, or form should Matt LaFleur be fired. And I am sick and tired of every single loss drumming up the kind of conversation, which I'm adding to now because I'm voicing it. But man, it's so tiring. It's like, to your point, Billy, everybody's having these conversations. The Eagles won that game, and their whole media is obsessed with the fact that they couldn't move the ball in the second half and Sirianni's lost his touch and blah, blah, blah. It's like, man, these games are hard. These games are exponentially more difficult than people give it credit for. And I understand it sucks to lose, but there's no one that feels that more than the people in that building at 1265.
Yeah.
So like the idea that every single game is a monster referendum just drives me insane.
Well,
I just get nuts about it.
Yeah, and Nags, I brought it up, and I actually feel bad because it's probably put him in a tough spot. But when Wayne Larrabee joined us earlier on today, I had mentioned it. Like, I don't know that if you shot Ed Policy with truth serum, I don't know that he would have. Maybe he anticipated the unending conversation that the statement and the non-extensions brought. Right. Like if he would have known the kind of consternation in the fan base and, potentially the locker room, right? This is something that we don't know is how much of it is heard, thought of, known, listened to. It's definitely asked of Matt more this year than it ever has in his tenure. If those statements in the beginning of the year were worth it, right? Like we wanted to add a little urgency. We wanted to let people know like, hey man, I'm the new guy in charge. There might be some moving and shaking. No, I'm not committing to anything. I'm open. If indeed is like, we'll answer that question at the end of the year.
At the end of the year.
And maybe that would have added more unknown and more consternation.
Because then people are more guessing even more. Right?
But damn, that pepper being thrown in there, I don't know that we realized that it was a true ghost pepper that was going to bring heat and spice all year to what otherwise is kind of a simmer. And like, if indeed you lose this upcoming week in a game that doesn't mean anything in terms of the win-loss record, and you win in the wild card or you lose in the wild card round. I said it earlier today, and I'll stand by. Like, I will not say that I would move on from LaFleur, but I would much, much more understand the conversation if you lose 5 straight games, get bounced in the first round, when earlier in the year you were the odds-on favorite to win the Super Bowl. Context matters, injuries absolutely matter, but the conversation feels, with everything around it, they've added to it, I think, and I don't know they planned on doing it.
Right.
But it is an understandable conversation this year, far more than ever before. Same deal. They win on Sunday. They've won 30 games in the regular season over the last 3 years. Not a whole lot of organizations are moving on from a coach that does that.
But there's the kind of point, right? If you are Ed Policy, you are going to draw back and look at the totality of at least the time from the moment they traded Rodgers till now, right? And the fact that they have made the playoffs all 3 years with the youngest team, etc., but it has only been the 7th seed all 3 years. And if you are Policy and you're looking at, okay, are there games where, that we kicked away because of coaching? There's cases to be made there. Like you can look at games throughout the course of the last 3 years in the regular season where, all right, that probably, whether it's special teams, whether it's decision-making, clock management, what have you, and then maybe that becomes, okay, I want my own guy in there. I don't think you go that way. I don't think they should go that way. But again, it's Ed Policy's call. Everything else is just guesswork. I'll understand if he pulls back and has that view. I don't think you should. I actually honestly think they'll give him an extension, but it is going to be fascinating to watch play out in these next couple weeks.
Yeah.
And it would be hilarious to see what that is, because I'm with you. I think he gets a 2-year and an option.
Yeah.
And the heat is going to be
hot.
Hilarious.
It already is hot.
We
though.
threw in a lot of different fun ones on the ride home after Packers OT, Drew Olson and I, while we're listening to Nags just dismantle these the amount of super chats you got on Saturday night was
a lot. There were
awesome.
a lot.
I was really happy for you. I'm hearing every single time Nags saying, thanks for the super chat. I'm giving a little fist pump like, let's go. My boy, you want to talk about paying the rent, paying the mortgage. Let's ride.
You gotta do it, baby.
You can run for 300 on. Yeah. Listen, people say if it bleeds, it reads. It pays as well. There was a lot of anger going on Saturday.
We had more calls on Packers OT that late into the night than we've had because that type of game will breed that type of reaction. And a lot of people, and I'm glad that we're having the conversation because that's how people broach it. Instead of saying, I want Matt LaFleur, I said, what is it time to have the conversation about Matt LaFleur? I mean, 10 times. Well, guess what? We're having a conversation. And I got news for you. We're always having the conversation. So the conversation's being had. So for all of you that call in and say, when's the time to have a conversation?
It's ongoing.
Having the
Welcome to it.
Also, we're doing fine. Also, thanks for calling. Also, we've all been a Packer fans our whole lives and watching the games.
Those are my favorite. Those are the best. When I've been a Packers fan since 1996. Well, everything you're about to say comes with a monster asterisk next to it.
How about the guy Billy that told you a couple weeks ago? I'm old enough to remember the 2014 NFC Championship game. I'm like, yeah, you're 11. We're all old enough to remember that.
I remember that one. I was.
That was 11. You're gotta be 11. We all remember that.
Oh my god.
I don't know. There are some Twitter accounts that Nags has to fight with that I'm not certain. I'm not certain of that.
You know what? They might be less than 11.
They might be less.
Armen,
the one that said
made me snarf, Armen. That was good.
Dude, the one that said I was unfamiliar with Jason's work was definitely, I thought, my favorite.
Oh my
That was definitely my favorite. I was like, well, welcome to the world.
Welcome to life.
Welcome to football life in Wisconsin.
Oh my gosh. Well, we're just getting going. We got a bunch of super chats, as you just mentioned.
Let's go.
Get to on the flip side. We'll do that. We'll talk more about this unbelievably depressing game against the Ravens. Try and flip the script and get ready for a meaningless game against the Vikings before marching into the playoffs as the team no one is scared to face. Very exciting times in Green Bay, Wisconsin. For Billy, Armen, I'm Aaron. More Carry the G Radio right after this.
Where it feels like home, I got everything I need and nothing that I don't.
We experienced some amazing sports moments in Wisconsin in 2025. Here is another one of our favorites.
And a base hit up the middle. 1-0 Brewers. South Freely drives in the first run of the game. Yelich into shallow right. That's a base hit. Freelick is going to come around and score. Through the hole, a base hit. Perkins sent around third. He'll score. This is Joey Ortiz. Is Freelick to right. Backside and looking up. It's off the top of the wall to bounce. Ortiz around third. He'll score. Collins down the left field line. A fair ball and into the corner. Freelick scores. Contreras a BB in the left. Here comes Collins. Throw from Pham is late. They keep pecking away.
Try and get something started against Carmen Majinski in this sixth inning with a 1-run lead.
And that's a fair ball down in the right field corner. 2 runs will score. Towards the middle and through a base hit. Perkins scores. Line drive base hit. Ortiz is in. Freelick's in. Contreras to third. The Brewers have hung a dozen on Pittsburgh. Tobias Myers kicks and deals. Struck him out. 12 in a row for the Brewers, and it's burger time in Milwaukee.
Excited for more celebrations in 2026. Happy New Year from the game.
If you really want to support our troops, just contact the USO.
You can't believe how much they do for us.
To find out how you can help, Visit us at USO.org. The USO, until everyone comes home.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1967.
Van Morrison, formerly of the band Them, has a number 10 hit as a solo artist with Brown Eyed Girl. In July, LA band The Grassroots scored their first top 10 hit with Let's Live for Today. And UK supergroup Cream, featuring guitarist Eric Clapton, toured the US for the first time.
In the sunshine of your
And in September, Janis Joplin's band Big Brother and the Holding Company signed with Columbia Records and released their debut album. October of '67, Memphis band The Box Tops, including 17-year-old gravel voice singer Alex Chilton, have a number 1 hit with The Letter.
ticket for an aeroplane. Ain't got time to take a fast train. Lonely days are gone, I'm a going home. My baby used to put me together. My baby used to put me together.
And in November, the first issue of Rolling Stone magazine is published in San Francisco, featuring an interview with John Lennon. The Who have their first and only U.S. top 10 hit with I Can See for Miles. In December, they smashed their instruments on the Smothers Brothers TV show.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1967 coming up.
iHeartRadio. Here are the top John Mellencamp songs that you've thumbed up.
Number 3.
Hurt So Good.
Hurt so good. Come on, baby, make it hurt so good. Sometimes love don't feel like it should, baby. Hurt so good.
Number 2. Small Town.
No, I cannot forget from where it is that I come from. I cannot forget the people who love me. Yeah, I can be myself here in this small town. And people let me be just what I want to be.
Number 1. Jack and Diane.
Oh yeah, life goes on. Long after the thrill of living is gone, to walk on.
Hear more from John Mellencamp and similar artists now. Search for John Mellencamp on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Charlie Puth to find out where the inspiration for his music comes from.
I never sit down and say I'm going to write a song. I just write whatever I'm feeling. If I'm, surrounded by a bunch of beautiful women in India, I'm going to write probably something with Indian culture-based music, like that sitar kind of thing or something like that. That was a very drastic, interesting example, but I mean, it's just whatever I'm feeling in the moment.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from your favorite artists.
Carry the G Radio rolls on. Bill Schmid, Armen Saryan, and Aaron Nagler taking you through the process. Grief, anger, acceptance, wherever you're at, we're here for you. Because gosh knows there's a lot to unpack. And we've got folks on the Cheesehead TV YouTube chat. They're chatting, Billy. They're chatting.
Here, man. Come on now.
And our good old friend Mike Witt's here to pay the bills. Mike, starting us off with, I know I am an Eeyore type of fan, but I expected a little more of a jump from Cooper this year. He's still good. Just thought he'd take a bigger step. That's fair.
Very fair.
Very fair. I do think he's played very, very well. But I think when you're talking about that next step, and I think a lot of people thought, and myself I include here, we thought we'd see more big plays, right? More big, consequential, game-changing plays. He has been down in and down out, pretty damn excellent. But the game-changing plays, the big sacks, interceptions, strip sack fumbles, anything of that nature, they have been largely absent. And I do understand maybe a little bit of frustration there.
I think it's the recovery. He recovers the fumble against the Broncos that Parsons forces. There's a couple of individual ones.
He's in there against the Eagles.
He's got the
driving
peanut
down
punch
there.
on Hurts
Yep.
there. So like
Yep.
he's got a couple, but you're right. I think we all did think that like it was going to go from year 1 outstanding start, year 2 prime Ray Lewis.
Right.
So there might be,
Okay, maybe not that big of a jump.
no, but right, like I think the
Right.
thought was like, boom, transcendent player. Like,
Yeah.
hey man, and it's not out of the realm of possibility. The best linebacker of the last decade, inside linebacker of the last decade, Luke Kuechly.
Yep.
Are we going to argue that?
Nope.
He goes defensive rookie of the year, defensive player of the year in year 2.
Sure.
Right.
Mhm.
So like the thought that you can do that progression is not crazy. It's not unheard of.
Nope,
It's not crazy.
insane.
Now he's also a first ballot Hall of Famer, but I do
Right.
believe like the excitement was we got him. We
Yep.
got the guy. And I think he's been very, very good. And when you go back to it, Nags, you're spot on. The tape shows like he's gotten better. Like he has gotten
yeah.
better.
Oh,
Has
no
he
question.
been
No
the
question.
best inside linebacker in football? No. And I wonder if in the roster build and in the construction of the team, if they kind of banked on that being the case.
Like,
right.
you had a
Like
great rookie year, but we expect you to be all of a sudden special,
Yeah.
all pro. And sometimes expectation is the worst thing that you can have because then it changes the conversation around
Well,
you.
it colors the perception of whatever it is you do
Yeah.
based on those expectations. Corey and I have talked about that all season long because of the
Mm-hmm.
late trade for Micah Parsons switching everything up,
Sure.
right? As far as what the expectations for this team were. And then those first 2 weeks happen, and then that just gets put on steroids. And
Yep.
then that colors the perception of the team for the remainder of the season, which I get, totally understand it. And to your point, yeah, I do think that definitely plays into how Cooper is viewed. Now, that said, he's actually coming off a game where, yep, he's just as disappointing as everyone. You know
Totally.
what I mean? Like there's little doubt that there are plenty of plays that you can point to in that game where he gets taken advantage of, gets out muscled, gets out leveraged, what have you. But I think down in and down out throughout the season, he's been really good.
That would be that's the overarching take is like he has been good. And I also think, and this is, again, it's a hard day to sing the praise of the inside linebackers after
Yes,
they
it
get run
is.
for.
Yes, it is.
But I think him and Quay have shown that they are a legit pairing.
Good duo.
And
Yeah.
they're a really good duo. Are they the best duo in football? Again, maybe
No.
not.
No.
But there's a belief that like we're either going to be the best or we got to scrap it and run by again.
Right.
And like I think we have middle ground there. They win more because of those guys instead of those guys being hindrances into them being successful.
I very much agree. However, and now we're a little early on this conversation, there is going to come a point this offseason, most likely, where they're going to have to make a decision on Quay Walker contractually. And I know Brian has repeatedly talked about, oh, he's a core member of our defense and what we want to do on defense. And to your point, they work well together. And I do think some of Quay's kind of fall off here because I thought Quay was playing very well at the start of the season.
Yeah.
He's certainly not been the same since going out with the injury earlier this year. He's come back and it hasn't been great. There's no doubt about that. But I do think it's going to be a tough sell cap-wise to say, okay, we're going to pay him market rate to keep him off the free agent market when, man, that's going to cost you a pretty penny and you already are swimming in these kind of top-heavy contracts. I can't imagine them laying out big money for Quay Walker.
Yeah, especially if there's a certain number 52, not $52 million cap hit, but like a cap hit, a dead cap hit that's incoming for a couple of individuals that might not be on the roster coming up next year, and that changes the financials of
It
it.
most certainly does. Man, we got some Van Halen going on in here. I love it.
Bringing the heat.
That's where we go.
He's
Come
bringing
on
heat
now.
now.
We got a lot of heat coming up. That's the last 1 hour just flown by. Boys, we're going to need another 3 hours to get all of this in. That's all I know. My goodness.
One for each touchdown by Henry.
Oh, you know, why you got to go there? Why couldn't it be Malik Willis touchdowns? Why I got to be Henry? Why you got to be negative, Billy? Oh, we'll get all the positive energy out in the next one. That's Billy and Armen. I'm Aaron. Hour 2 of Carry the G Radio coming up.
Miss an hour of no BS?
Honestly, Billy, I don't think you'd miss it.
You can find all of the shows in podcast form. Just search No BS on the iHeartRadio app.
Now, a year in rock spotlight. 1974.
In January of of 1974, the top-selling album of the year is released. Paul McCartney and Wings band On the Run. Bob Dylan, backed by the band, has his first #1 album with Planet Waves. In February, Jersey City's Kool and the Gang have a top 5 hit with Jungle Boogie. New York City's Kiss released their debut, which sells 75,000 copies without a hit single. In March of 74, Canadian band Rush released their debut album, Get a New Drummer, and go on their first U.S. tour. David Essex has the first of many top 10 hits in the UK and his only U.S. hit with the single Rock On, which goes to #5. And Steely Dan hit the top 5 with the single Ricky Don't Lose That Number and have a top 10 album too with Pretzel Logic.
Ricky, don't lose that number. It's the only one you want. You might use it if you feel better when you get home.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1974. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight from 1976.
Bob Dylan releases his album Desire. It goes to #1 in the States, thanks mainly to significant radio airplay for the single Hurricane.
Couldn't help but make me feel ashamed to live in a land where justice is a game.
Scottish sensations, the Bay City Rollers, finally score a hit in the U.S. with the #1 single Saturday Night.
Saturday
In February, former Steve Miller Band member Boz Scaggs has a #2 U.S. album with Silk Debris. Peter Frampton hits #1 with his double live album Frampton Comes Alive. It would become the best-selling album of 1976.
I want you, show me the way every day. I want you, show me the way night and day.
In March, Irish hard rockers Thin Lizzy's 6th album Jailbreak scores them a #12 hit single with The Boys Are Back in Town.
The boys are back in town again. Been hanging down at Dino's.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1976. Coming up.
iHeartRadio. Here are the top Aretha Franklin songs that you've thumbed up. #3, You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman. #2, Freeway of Love. #1, Respect.
R-E-S-P-E-C-T, find out what it means to me. R-E-S-P-E-C-T, take out T-C-B.
Hear more from Aretha Franklin and similar artists now. Search for Aretha Franklin on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1975.
In June of 75, the Bee Gees released the LP Main Course, featuring a more dance-oriented sound, and delivered 3 hit singles, including the #1 Jive Talkin'. In July, Fleetwood Mac shake things up. They add Americans Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks to the lineup and have a #1 album. And Wings released the album Venus and Mars, which goes to #1. Their U.S. tour features Paul McCartney's first live appearance in the U.S. since 1966.
Love is fine for all we know. For all we know, our love will grow. That's what the man said. Don't you listen to what the man said. He said.
In August of 75, the Eagles' 4th album goes to #1 and has 3 top 5 singles, including the #1 title track, One of These Nights. And the boss, Bruce Springsteen, is featured on the cover of Time magazine, and Born to Run becomes his breakthrough album, reaching #3 in the U.S.
Come on with me, chance like us. Baby, we were born to run.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1975. Coming up.
Listen to us live 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app and watch our shows each weekday on YouTube, Facebook, and X. We are the game. This is Carry the G, a show about everything Packers.
Let's go!
Green Bay Packers, woo!
And other stuff we love.
Oh, we just like to have some beers and a little tailgating.
Now, please welcome the man who carries the G 24/7 from Cheesehead TV, Aaron Nagler.
Carry the G Radio Hour 2 coming at you with Bill, Armen, and Aaron. And, just hearing that little snippet there, a little tailgating. You know what's so depressing?
Oh, yeah.
No more tailgating at Lambeau Field until 2026. Man, I think I wanted that home playoff game more than I wanted anything else. Like, I wanted one more game at Lambeau Field just to take, that next step as far as, okay, we're always coming in at the 7th seed. But just that vibe, the great atmosphere around Lambeau just being now put on the shelf until, I guess, training camp.
Yeah.
Be out there in the blazing sun.
Mm-hmm.
That's always sad for me, Billy. I'm always a little despondent when that happens.
Yeah, it truly is a crushing reality of it that's the last time you're going to watch the game there for almost 10 months. But also too, Nags, and like the media starts with me thing. I love seeing the paint on the field of wild card or division, and like that to me, like even though like the walking in and the energy and the tailgates of that is always good. But to see that little paint on a Lambeau playing surface that otherwise doesn't get dropped with the Play 60 logo in the corner, they're not dropping any advertisement on the 25s.
Right. Yep.
But when you throw that playoff logo there on the side, right there on the 25-yard lines, baby. Oh, that is so sweet. And sucks that we're going to have to wait for another year to be able to see that at Lambeau.
Getting back to some super chats here because, boy, howdy, we got a few.
Let's hit them. Come on now.
Mike saying, someone in the Packers organization needs to have a conversation with 25 and let him know you are a returner, not a cornerback one. If he disagrees, then it's time to go another way.
Here we go, the conversations. Here we go, the conversations.
Got to have those conversations. I mean, I don't suspect if they were going to have that conversation, they would have had it last offseason, but they didn't. I don't think they're going to. And I don't think, barring some kind of car wreck, fire, train wreck, what have you, that we're going to see him back on returns anytime soon. If they were going to do it, if they were desperate enough for it, they would have done it by now. Instead, we're watching Bo Melton run into the back of his blockers.
Yeah, and I did see somebody saying like the Packers haven't had a really dynamic returner since Desmond Howard. Well, Keyshawn Nixon was pretty damn good at it.
Keyshawn Nixon literally is tied with Desmond Howard for most punt returns for touchdowns in franchise history, along with Will Blackman.
History. And it's just like, man, I was waiting for the years of Antonio Chapman. Like I'm like, you just get somebody that runs away
Alan
from
Rossum. There we go. Yeah.
That runs away from everybody. Like that to me is the crazy part of it. But also there was, and this is all hindsight 2020, but you take a gotcha return man kind of specialist second wide receiver 12 picks ahead of Chimere Dike, who's the first team all pro return man on the AFC side. Yeah. And, he's a Wisconsin kid. So like there's misses, like there obvious ones. If that's what you were looking for in Savion Williams, there's obviously hopefully more plans for him. But when you're, a scratch, and we're having that as the kicker, that's a tough deal.
He was ill.
Not saying this one. I'm saying, but going forward, if that's his case as a return man,
I got you.
That's going to be a difficult beast. The other scratch would be more of Matthew Golden, who I did find was very, very fun to see. I think it might have just been one of the aggregator accounts on Instagram that put out somebody's tweet, but put out the Schefter tweet of Packers are planning on resting key players.
Yeah.
And there was a picture of Matthew Golden on there. Like, well, they've been resting him for 18 weeks.
Now, he was out on the field.
He was there.
The Ravens.
He was there.
He got snaps, plenty of them, just not ever, and I mean ever, part of the progression, apparently, or, number one in the progression in any way, shape, or form. That's like killing me, man. It's killing me. They got this guy running clear out routes. They got him running dummy stuff. They got him going in motion. He did have a catch or two, which very nice.
One catch. Let's go. Come
very
on.
nice.
Got a first down. Almost a first down.
I mean, look at this. And they targeted him up the left sideline. The ball's out of bounds. That's not his fault, etc. But Mike also says, watch, in a meaningless game Sunday, Golden will have 130 yards and 2 TDs.
I mean, I'd be happy to see that. I mean, it's meaningless to some, not meaningless to others.
Clayton Tune throwing 130 and 2 tutties to Matthew Golden. Let's go.
Yeah, name that.
Hitting a gritty
Tune. I don't know.
You're really trying with the Tune jokes.
Yeah.
You might want to bury those.
No. Keep them coming. Keep them coming.
I'm not going to make you tune out.
Name that Tune.
Listen, my thing is it meaningless or not? I mean, everyone's saying it is meaningful. It is. I have another question really quick to circle back to Keyshawn.
There we go.
What would the conversation do? I mean, you're not a cornerback one. What does that mean? That you're not going to play cornerback? What is the Packers' better option at cornerback right now? I'm sorry. There aren't like you don't have all pro cornerbacks sitting on the practice squad. Like, I don't think so. You try to do the best you can at every position. Keyshawn Nixon's played his way into that top cornerback role. I thought he's been fine most of the year. I don't know what they think going another direction. So sign more guys, draft more guys.
Yeah,
just
it's an off-season
guy.
It's an
it doesn't. But what's the conversation? You're just trying to. You might not be happy with what you have, but you got to use your best guys. What you have. That's my whole point. So
no, I feel you, but it is an off-season conversation, no question about it. And to your point, who else do they have to throw out there? I don't like. It's kind of like the wide receiver one thing. Like cornerback one, he doesn't follow their best guy. No. It's not like they play a ton of man. He's the left corner.
Correct.
Carrington is the right corner. That's it. Left, right. That's how they line up like the majority of the time. Not every single down, obviously, but he's their left corner. And does he get taken advantage of at times? Yep. No question about it. But he's their left corner. And that's just how they're operating in 2025.
Yeah, and I think we do get so hell bent on the number because it's a clickbait cliche deal of like, well, that was this QB one and CB one. Like you said, okay, so he's the first guy, he's the one that's going to be taking the snaps. No, we understand that. And again, if there was an opportunity to address it and in the middle of the season, they would have. They didn't. So they'll go into the offseason and know that they need to get better there. We had our first caller say, well, I think they need to draft an interior defensive lineman with the pick of 52 to 48, whichever it falls there. They might need to trade up to 38 to get one of the top 3 corners. Like, listen, I'm not there right now. I appreciate that we all are. I appreciate that you are. They have been looking at it and know that they need to get better there. Right, I will say, that is not a game, a breaking news sounder that's rolling through the hallways of 1265.
I will say this. That's funny you bring that up because this is a conversation that Corey and I were having on the watch party on Saturday night because they were getting run over, right, and they were getting manhandled up front. And if you remember on this here program last week, I said the interior defensive line, all of the defensive tackles needed to raise their game. They certainly did not. And then someone chimed in on the chat reasonably. You know, I'm not saying this is like out of the realm of craziness or anything like that, but, well, they should have drafted a defensive tackle this last draft. Well, yeah, they had the opportunity to do so, and this is the frustration where, Billy, you said it in the first segment. This was a historically stacked, deep, talented defensive tackle class. We talked about it all kind of months leading up to the draft, right? The Packers didn't. They went another way. They drafted 2 receivers, one who they've given the ball to on some kind of end-around trick play type stuff, and another one for the first time ever in a million years in the first round who they've ignored. Now, I understand it's long-term investment, right? That is the whole Packers way. But I understand fans getting a little frustrated when you had the opportunity to add in a very deep class, and you completely said, no, we're good. And we're going to take these 2 guys instead, and we're not going to use them right now. Now, maybe down the line, they become really important pieces on offense. Let's hope so. But for this season, I can understand the frustration. I get it. And you're right. It is hindsight. It is like looking back, and you didn't count on Devontae Wyatt going down. You didn't count on Micah Parsons going down. I understand that. But where this philosophy can maybe trip you up sometimes is when we're making a 5-year investment. Well, that's great. But this year it's biting you and it's bit them.
It has. And Nags, I think the other part of it is like you mentioned, you didn't anticipate Devontae Wyatt going down. You didn't anticipate Micah Parsons going down. Well, at that point, you probably didn't anticipate Micah Parsons on the team.
Yeah.
And you anticipated Kenny Clark being in, right? And like, so maybe you had the way things come up and the way opportunities present themselves, you have to be able to take those blows to your roster. And I saw your piece on like the depth of the team. I think the depth's pretty good, actually. Like overall, I do still think it's one of the deeper teams that they've seen. It's been really questioned because of the top end players that they've lost from the roster. Like you lose a certain amount of those guys, you're always going to have trouble being able to overcome it. But when it is a spot where you could have easily predicted, hey man, Colby Wooden and Carl Brooks are nice players, but no doubt. If we're talking about investments, are we going to invest on them in a year, or are we going to be then looking for young players to come in here? Because then maybe we draft somebody now instead of a rookie coming in from Bowling Green or Auburn that we're asking to play significant snaps, because that's most likely what you're asking going into next year. Because I don't think you're going to keep all of them. And the loss of like a TJ Slayton, could you have been able to pay him? Probably not, but you're really feeling the effects of the guys that you did start to develop, that you did see real progress from leaving. You just haven't been able to backfill them with significant players like a Stackhouse or a Brinson that you thought you were going to be able to play with.
Stackhouse is an interesting one too, because it certainly looked like this summer that he had a shot at contributing, right? But he's been a healthy scratch for a number of weeks now. And after they picked up Bohanna and Riley, who also now is down, so you got to think they'll probably be playing Stackhouse. That has really been.
Maybe they will. Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah, somebody in there.
They got to have some bodies out there. And look, all practice squad lineup on Sunday. I can't wait. I'm all for it. Let's go.
Somebody called Tyler Lancaster. I didn't invoke his name this morning.
Yeah, you had to drop it. He's just sitting there having himself a phenomenal couple of days after Boxing Day, because he's probably might be hanging out in Canada somewhere now. But like you have different guys that you thought you were going to see development from, and you flat out haven't. And I also think, Nags, that with the state of where you're at going forward defensively, you are going to have to hit on a couple of these cats. So I was excited to see even more Colin Oliver love day after Christmas. I mean, I don't know how many people got a sick Packers hoodie or a Packers jersey or a pullover for Christmas.
Right.
But I'm telling you, online, it felt like the greatest Christmas present Green Bay Packers related anybody had ever gotten was the fact that Colin Oliver was activated. The excitement on Friday was insane.
It was.
Oh, God, that's funny. That is so good.
And then when he talked, we had sound.
Yeah.
Sound. Oh, my Lord.
Oh, and the fact that his teammates call him Baby Micah. Wow, you throw that into the mix? Put that into the water. The sharks are swimming, baby.
Bottoms of tables being rattled everywhere across Packers fandom. It was so hot.
Good.
It was hot.
That is so good. Sticking with the questions online, we got Brody saying, hasn't been perfect, but does Sean Ryan stay in 2026? See, these are the questions we get now. Now where everyone's looking to the offseason, which I get. Still games to be played, people, but I get it. I understand the thinking here. I understand the question.
Oh, yeah.
I suspect Sean Ryan is going to hit free agency. I'd be surprised if they kept him in the fold. And I don't think, to your point, no, he hasn't been perfect, but they've certainly solidified the interior of the line with him in there. Yeah. They've certainly found a way of working with him. Now, unfortunate snap that caused a turnover on this past game, etc. But I think he's done what they've asked of him, and certainly you thank him for his service, but I'd be surprised if they offered him a contract, Billy.
Yeah, and listen, I said last year that I would be surprised if Josh Myers didn't get a big money deal. He didn't. Now, he did get re-upped with the team that he signed with.
He did.
Because he's been starting and playing well, even though their team is in contention for the number 1 overall pick. But like, I don't I think Sean Ryan's okay. I don't think that they see him as a pillar of the team. And I think more than anything, I would point to the response to the snap off of the face mask.
Oh my gosh.
When Matt was asked about it, he went out of his way multiple times to say, we're not even into the cadence. We haven't even started the cadence. Like, I don't know what we're doing. I don't know what.
Yeah.
But no, that's.
I don't know what you heard, but it wasn't the cadence.
I did. Armen would be happy. I got a set of binoculars for Christmas.
Oh,
so
let's go.
You opened the press box with the binoculars?
We had big binoc energy.
Whoa, look at you.
They are the travel size.
Those are the little ones.
But
all right.
We had some binoc energy up in the press box. Next, it was a rather one-way conversation that was being had between Luke Butkus and Sean Ryan.
Correct.
During that television timeout. And I believe there was 2 minutes and 20 seconds during that television timeout.
And he was still talking to him when they came back from commercial.
He maybe took 4 breaths. And Luke Buck is a big man. Like, he was letting him have it during the timeout. That and everybody knows how many snaps you need to be able to hit certain incentives. There was a couple of games missed because of a PED thing. Like, I would be surprised if Sean Ryan's in the team coming up.
The thing is, I gotta know more at some point about this, because Billy used to make fun of the binoculars. He used to make
clouding everybody for him.
Billy needs it. He came in handy, didn't they, Billy?
He just got old. Happens to us all. Happens to us all, man. Father Time is undefeated.
I wanted to see Tyler Lindebaum throwing guys around, even up close and personal. It really looked as bad 7 stories up as it was on the field.
You talk about Sean Ryan probably moving on. How about Cole Van Lanen balling out in Jacksonville? Flipped for what, a 7th round pick?
Yep.
And there he is starting for the Jaguars, who are just putting up like 30, 40 burgers on everybody. Man.
They're starting left tackle.
Starting left tackle, probably going to get a nice contract. Big deal. Yep.
And they're good. Like, they're good. They're. I know the result
really good.
Might not have been good, but they're really good. And that's another phenomenal one where, like, you don't know who is going to be able to motivate and call upon the right stuff for the right team. Liam Cohen sure does seem to be the right dude for that, as they said, small market team, even though it's the biggest city technically in terms of population in the state of Florida. So I love being
pettiness, the vindictiveness. I love it so much. So good.
And you still don't know in this league what's going to happen year to year. You don't. There are unexpected things.
The Jaguars won 4 games last year.
Right.
Now they're in contention for the number 1 seed.
And they traded their 1st round pick to get a corner wide receiver who's barely played.
Barely touched the field.
And it was because they was like, we're not going to be in this top 5 very often, so we need to move up.
Well, they have the former Packers linebackers coach as their defensive coordinator.
Anthony Campanelli,
He's balling out too.
And people are loving him. Maybe he gets that Giants job.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, that's a good one. There you go. Make that leap. Leap.
Come on.
And New York guy, he's already got the accent.
Already got the accent.
A name like Campanelli.
Campanelli, come on.
Are you going to tell me he's not going to be selling to everybody in Jersey?
That'll play.
That'll play.
That'll play in the tri-state area.
Yes.
He's going to have his own brand of Jardinera.
Are there a lot of Jets fans on the island, or is that Giants country?
It's a mix. It's always a mix. It's a mix throughout. Okay. Like it's and some are, dependent on the fortune of the team. Some are more boisterous than others, but it's always a mix.
Yeah. I got one friend that's a Jets fan, and my boy is just always going through it.
Well,
I feel so bad for him. I feel so bad for him, but I just love every game. He even like this year, he's watching this game. They're playing the Patriots, and they're just going to get skulled. And he's watching it like it's the AFC title game. And I'm like, man, I would have taken up knitting. Like, I would have found a different hobby if I'd have been a Jets fan for his entire life.
Dude, I had a Jets fan friend here in New York who was, we were talking ball, we were out having beers, whatever. And I just casually mentioned, like, well, you're going to be in contention for the number 1 overall pick, blah, blah, blah. Is there a quarterback? What? He's like, he literally doesn't miss a beat and says, it doesn't matter. We'll screw it up.
I love that. Hey, here's a stat for you. Speaking of the Jets, that's fun. Speaking of weird stats, the aggregate of the quarterbacks that have played against the Jets this year combined 13-3, 7.4 yards per attempt, 64% completion, 32 tutties, no picks. That would be the MVP of the league.
Yep.
That's every quarterback that's played against the Jets this year. I found that one for you. Thanks
no picks.
to
They
Bobby
don't have an interception all year. The whole year.
All year.
Not
That
one.
is remarkable. It might be more remarkable than a team not punting 3 times and losing.
See,
all
okay,
those
the punting
games. That's a way
stat.
worse
Okay,
one.
the
Yes.
punting stat. Like, let's have a little context there. And I know we got to get
A
the break,
little,
but
a little bit.
I mean, yes, okay. In history, they've never lost these games where they haven't punted, etc. Okay, fine. But in the history of the league, people have been punting on 4th downs.
I know, we go
no
for
one
it.
punts anymore.
That's still crazy, though. I mean, but you're right. It is different than it used
They
to be.
go
because
for it on 4th down
4th down
now in a way they
culture-
never did before. Like,
But that's still crazy.
No, but you
It's-
got to use today's football and analyze it with all of the other numbers, just like the playoff record, because we got to now say that you wouldn't have made the playoffs in 2018.
Oh, that
because
thing.
we are
Dear
litigating those.
Lord.
We are trying to win the 2019 Super Bowl.
Once upon a time, there was no playoffs.
Well, Myles Garrett didn't break the sack record. He didn't do it in 14 games. So
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
And the Packers should have 14 championships, not 13, if you know your ball and your history.
Yeah,
Don't start
don't start. Get me started on that year.
Chicago Stadium title game. What
Yeah.
are we talking
And
about?
you know, I mean,
Get outta
I
here,
like
that
I like to
nonsense.
always mention Gale Sayers and Dick Butkus never made the playoffs.
Never once.
Now, is that a totally fair statement? Obviously, there was no playoffs. Or there were the smaller playoffs.
Still
I think.
factual. Still
facts.
factual.
Facts. And when I'm getting in those Twitter streets, it doesn't matter. What's
You just armed with facts. That's all
Life
you're
is
doing.
fair.
like Giannis says, I'm here to scrap now. It doesn't matter anymore.
Fighting
Doesn't
for my
matter about-
life.
doesn't
I'm
matter
fighting
about-
for my life.
Fighting for my life.
Oh, I love it. This show could just go all day. I love it so much. We got more super chats. We got more stuff to talk about with this matchup with the Vikings. All sorts of goodness on the flip. That's Billy and Armin. I'm Aaron on Carry the G Radio.
In Wisconsin, we experienced some amazing sports moments in 2025. Here is one of our favorites.
And he pulls this one deep to left center, way back, and gone! The Brewers strike first in Game 5. And Vaughn with a try, left field, pretty deep. This ball is gone! Andrew Vaughn has vaulted the Brewers into the lead in Game 5. Terang the batter. And Terang drives one, center field, way back there! Gone! Bryce Terang, his biggest swing as a Brewer. A huge homer in the 7th. Cubs down to their final out. Carson Kelly grounded to short. Ortiz makes the play. Ball game over. The Brewers will play for the pennant.
Excited for more celebrations in 2026.
When Americans volunteer to serve their country promises to take care of them when they come home. Paralyzed Veterans of America works with veterans and their families to make sure they get all that they were promised. You can help. Visit pva.org.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1971.
February, 4 months after her death, Janis Joplin's album Pearl is released and goes to number 1. The single Me and Bobby McGee also tops the chart. Bill Withers hits number 3 with the single Ain't No Sunshine from his debut album produced by Booker T. Jones. In March of 71, Carole King releases her first solo album and scores 2 number 1 singles, I Feel the Earth Move and It's Too Late. And UK progressive rockers Jethro Tull have a top 10 album on both sides of the Atlantic with Aqualung.
Running down his nose. Greasy fingers smearing shabby clothes. Hey, Aqualung.
In April, the Temptations topped the charts with Just My Imagination, their 3rd number 1 and their 13th top 10 single. Three Dog Night have their 2nd number 1 single with Joy to the World. And the Rolling Stones album Sticky Fingers is released, including the number 1 single Brown Sugar.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1971. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1973.
The Rolling Stones are back on top with the #1 album in the U.S. and the U.K. and a #1 single, Angie.
Come on, baby.
Let's Get It On is a #1 single and a #2 album for Marvin Gaye. Also in August of '73, Stevie Wonder is back with the #4 album, Inner Visions. And Florida band Leonard Skinner released their debut album, had a top 20 hit with Freebird, and tour opening for The Who.
Won't you fly free, bird, yeah.
Fast forward to October, where on their 8th album, the Steve Miller Band debut a smooth blues rock sound and score a #1 hit with The Joker.
I'm a joker, I'm a smoker, I'm a midnight toker. I sure don't want to hurt no one.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1973. Coming up.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Peter Gabriel to reflect on the WOMAD Festival's evolution.
We initially started this WOMAD Festival in 1980. The first one was 82, and it was very naive enthusiasm for some of these strange and wonderful things we were hearing. And as a failed drummer, I was hearing grooves that I fell in love with, which seemed a lot more alive than what I was hearing on the radio. As a singer too, these wonderful voices, and it's still continued that way. And it's a lot more difficult, because the demise of the music business and record stores has made it extremely difficult for any minority interest label. But we work hard to focus online activities, and there is still, happy to say, good audience, and the WOMAD Festival is, I think, like a lot of live parts of the business, actually flourishing, even though the records are not doing as well.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Peter Gabriel and all your favorite artists.
Here at the G Radio, back half of the last hour. We're ready and waiting and willing and able to take on the Minnesota Vikings Sunday at noon, as the football gods intended, to close out the 2025 regular season. And I'm with you, Billy, when you talk about the need to, you can't sit everyone, obviously, in the rest versus rust department, right? If there's any question, any guy, anybody banged up at all, they should sit. And I do think they're going to start Clayton Tune in this game. I do. Like, I would prefer Malik to be out there. But I do think give him a week of practice, run the ball, get the hell out of there. That's what I suspect. And I don't think it's going to be easy to watch. I don't think it's going to be fun in any way, shape, or form. But, yeah, I don't doubt that, given the injury list that we've seen over the course of the last month or so, as it's grown, and what, they had 10 questionable going into last week's game. They had illness sweeping through the locker room last week. I think they sit as many guys as humanly possible. And I'm not saying that everyone will sit, but I think most of them will.
I also really struggle to see not every opportunity to get healthy as the best victory you can have, right? I do think you got to get some kind of positive vibes rolling throughout somewhat of the building. You know what also is good positive vibes? Bo Melton getting a touchdown, right? You know what else is good positive vibes? Clayton Tune throwing 2 touchdown passes. That would be an elite vibe.
Okay,
but
how about first downs?
But also getting on the plane and knowing that you're going to be able to play next week and know who your opponent is. And we're going to have Josh Jacobs running the football 20 times. That's the best vibe to be able to have, and what I think they're going to be trying to catch. I think they are going to lean very, very heavy on that. But I also would see fringe players that you're well, this guy's going to play. They do need certain guys to play. You need a certain amount of active bodies.
Got to fill out the roster.
And all due respect to certain players, there's cats that don't deserve to sit. Right? It's a rank and file in this building. and you might not be the second wide receiver. So Jaden Reed is a great question. Jaden Reed's got 4 catches since coming back.
Right.
I bet he would like to play and get some vibes rolling. He probably needs to play. You need to have him on the field. Romeo Doubs and Christian Watson probably don't. So there's levels to it, and offensive line wise, hey, Aaron Banks, you're making a lot of money. I know that you've been banged up. You know what we actually do need? You guys to be able to block a front that's legitimate. So why don't we go and get some playoff reps against a unit that is playoff caliber in Minnesota?
In their home.
Like, there's decisions to be made. And like up front, I'm not playing Tom. I'm playing everybody else. And unless it gets out of hand and I see something different, I think you guys are going to play because we need to get Anthony Belton playing in playoff environments. We need to get our cohesion rolling up front. And there's certain levels to this stuff. And I'm going to sit some, but I'm not sitting everybody that's going to have a helmet and shoulder pads playing in that wild card round.
And it's Packers-Vikings. I mean, there's still fans like me that anytime you play the Vikings, it matters. I don't want to lose to the Vikings. I care. Anytime we're lined up to play the Vikings, I want to win that game bad. That's just the reality of it. I appreciate the fact that they're out of it and we're not, and that part is good, but I don't want to lose to the Vikings. I'm not going to feel good in that moment. And in sport, it's still a little bit about what we do.
You still play to win the game.
You're trying to play to win the game. Now,
said.
The other question I have about this is we talk about this a lot in baseball. A lot about getting hot going into the playoffs. The teams that are hotter win and how hot. You know, we talked about this a lot with the Brewers, and it's always a conversation when you've already clinched at the end of September is how much should you throttle back and all this stuff. But it seems to be, at least the research I've done, that there's no good piece of data that suggested, at least in baseball, that a hot team has a better chance to win the playoffs. It seems to be that the calendar flips and there's more variance. It is what it is. I don't know if that's true in football or not. I don't know if there's good data on it. I don't know if we can even use any data because of the how new the new playoff spot is. Although, Billy, your point, it's been a few years now. Like, is there any evidence to suggest that what will happen next week will portend a different result in 2 weeks?
I mean, both approaches have worked and not.
Sure, there's examples of
teams. Like look at last year alone. I mean, the Chiefs sat everybody in the last week, meaningless game, and then they marched to the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like you just and Matt always says this, and he's 100 billion% spot on. No matter what call he makes, he is going to get second guessed. Like no matter who plays, who sits, whether they're healthy or not, all of this stuff, everyone will have an opinion on it. And the only way it's the right choice is if they win the game.
1,000%. Because I loved Schneidman's question of it yesterday, where he's like, what can you take in learning from the past experience that you have? And man, you always call upon the past experience that you have. And I'm like, I'm trying to think about it. I'm like, well, okay, 2021, they thought they were going to go in and homecoming the Lions, and then they were losing at halftime and sat guys second. I didn't think they lost anybody of significance in that game, if I'm not mistaken, but maybe they did. Did Dave play in that like a couple of series and then didn't play the next week? Potentially?
I think you're right. Yeah.
Okay. So there was something weird in there. They were like, all right, they're getting some really good vibes. And then all of a sudden, oh wait, we're losing to the Kitties. And now weird. And now
they lost MVS in that game. That was a big one.
That's what it was. Okay. They lost MVS. And then they lose Watson last year. So like that would be the call upon of we've only lost cats. So maybe we don't play anybody. But he felt it sounded in 21, unless it was only because Aaron wanted to and sounded convicted and getting some kind of good vibes rolling. Matt seemed to really believe it in 21. So either you totally changed all of the beliefs, or it's like, I'm just not wanting to deal with my guys going down because that's the only thing I'm going to lose.
And on the flip side of that coin, you're talking about the Chiefs last year sit everybody last game and then march to the Super Bowl, right? You got the Lions a couple years ago where they go out, meaningless game in San Francisco, and Campbell said, oh, we're playing everybody. And they play everybody, and they win the game. And then they go on and they lose in the NFC Championship game. But, like, that's the kind of dichotomy of, like, if you win the game, it's the right call. It really depends on what's right for your roster in this moment.
Yes.
As banged up as the Packers are, I'll understand if we're out there with a preseason looking roster. Like, I'll totally understand that call. But I know it's going to be hard to watch. It's going to be hard to watch against that defense in that building. That's all.
Well, and I mean, it's a master class of playing out and signing up for 17 games and doing all of it for what KOC and Brian Flores have been able to get out of that Vikings team. I mean, they paid a lot of guys this year and a lot of veteran players. Big money to compete for the playoffs and win playoff games. And they've been eliminated for 2 weeks, and they're playing as hard as any team in football. Like that's really credit to them.
I think that's why you see them as a heavy favorite. I believe I saw 6.5.
Surprised by that.
It should probably be more.
Right.
I was just saying. It should be
No,
more.
I
totally
mean,
agree.
that's,
I like Dag on the chat here. Almost became an Eeyore on Saturday. Rest everyone, even the ball boy. See, that's one approach.
If you consider the Eeyore status, you've already become an Eeyore. Almost
if you're teetering on Eeyoreism, you have probably already entered.
You've already opened that door, cracked that door open. Yeah.
I like that Eeyore Club is kind of like my man Tim Allen's Done Club, where it's like you are done. And now the Eeyore is a little different from the standpoint of you're going to watch all the games and enjoy being miserable.
Yeah, apparently.
Where Tim's Done Club was, he said, now this is what you need to do. You shut the TV off and you don't watch it again.
And you're done.
Then you're done. And you don't get to comment on it anymore because I'm sick and tired of you coming in here doing that.
Here's the point. Eeyore membership has its privileges. And the privilege is you get to sit there and be miserable. And then when things don't work out, which they usually don't in the NFL because only one team wins the championship every year, when they don't inevitably work out, you get to sit there and go, I was right. They were bad. I knew they were going to be bad. Rather than actually rooting for your supposed favorite team. I mean, membership has its privileges.
Yeah, I've been saying that we could,
I was saying this summer they were going to be bad.
All summer. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I was saying, I knew it. I called it. They were going to give up a touchdown and they were going to lose because they didn't score as many points. And like there was going to be one bad play. And I knew it. I called it. That was going to be the.
I told you so. People live for I told you so.
No, they do. I think what's funny.
We should hang banners for I told you so, the way people champion the ability to say I told you so rather than rooting for their favorite team.
That's a great point. And I think the funny thing about it is we assume a lot of times we live in our own world and our the planets revolve around us and our teams, right? But this is true of every fan base. I guarantee every fan base is having the same conversation. Ones that win, especially ones that lose, they're all saying, look, these are these problems and these things, and we'll never do it because they remember the times that they lose or the times that their team plays bad and they say, this indicates that this team isn't ready. This coaching isn't good enough. We don't have this intangible. It's the same thing with every fan base. So that kind of cracks me up a little bit when I hear everyone say, look, we're just going to lose which we might just bow out in the first round. But every team thinks that they're probably every team worries, I should say, fan base, that they're just going to blow it in the first round. And then if they win, they'll blow it in the next round.
I'm glad you brought that up, Armen.
World championship.
Armen, I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you brought that up because, okay, whatever happens this weekend, doesn't matter, right? This game in Minnesota, complete nonsense, whatever, right? It's going to happen. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. We move on to what is most likely going to be a matchup with the Bears. Now, there is a path where it could be the Eagles, but most likely going to be the Bears. Who is the pressure on in that game?
Chicago.
Absolutely Chicago.
Of course it's Chicago.
And deep down, they are afraid. Deep down, they
lost once. It took a miracle to win the second time.
It's how I felt deep down about a Cubs playoff series. Let's be honest. On the other side of it, I didn't want to deal with them again. We already won the division.
Right.
Bears want to have their big triumph against us and have that be the end of the story. Amen. You know what I mean, or whatever it is. That's
the problem is though, they're little brother in this scenario. Yes. The Brewers also were the big brother and everybody was treating it like they were the little brother. Yeah. No, you dominated and dogged the division for the last 5 years. Yeah. Take this as an opportunity to flex, dunk, and celebrate the fact that you not only won the division, but you also ended their season. That is how they're going to look at it, and that's how they might be starting to frame it in their minds. Or, I think you guys are penning it. They're probably more realizing, this could be the worst of all scenarios.
Worst of all
our
scenarios.
Best year that we've had,
that's
our best quarterback that we've had.
Their best moment
freaking team is the one that ends it again.
In decades.
Right.
And we can end it all. We can end it.
Sweet possibility.
As good as things Bears look for the Bears and as bleak as they look for the Packers, we could change all with one win.
We can flip real quick.
That's why I've been unlike my previous self, actually hoping for that matchup because it's the best possible outcome on an otherwise bleak finish to the year. That could really change the way I felt about everything. If we could end their season and do that, man, that might be a scenario where one playoff wins enough. Although we almost never say
it's never enough, Armen. It's never enough. It's Titletown. It ain't beat the Bears town.
Right.
We all know this. However, that would be pretty sweet.
But this would be the year of the. This would put it to the test, though. This would put it to the test of all the father-in-laws that I've heard back in the day say, there was this time when I used to watch football where if you won 2 games and you beat the Bears, that was all that matters. Well, this is it. This would be the year that thought process that we can call upon those times of yesteryear that us youngins don't remember, that you guys didn't live through.
Yes.
That you guys didn't remember. You guys don't remember how tough it was. Well, let's put this into this is how tough it is. We're only potentially going to win 9 regular season games. Only win 9 games? Are you kidding?
Correct.
But you get to beat the Bears twice, and one of which is in the playoffs. That's gonna be good for me. That'll be a day for me, and I'll go and enjoy whatever collapse in San Francisco.
It's not the goal. It's not the thing you're shooting for, but it'd be a nice outcome. I'll tell you.
Listen, I want to win the fantasy championship, but once I'm in the consolation bracket, might as well win the son of a gun.
Right.
You play to win the game.
Might as well win it. I'm putting that as week 17. That wild card round is gonna be awesome.
Cannot wait. Man, we're flying. Here on Carry the G Radio.
God, now we're a group of 5 team.
Oh man, what are you doing to me? Why you got to frame it like that? I was feeling good. I was up. I was ready to beat the Bears.
Oh no, we're up. We're gonna go in and upset Ole Miss. What are you talking about? This is gonna be great.
By the way, I got a PlayStation 5, so no more excuses from you, young man.
Come on now, Radio Clown 78. Everybody can find me on there.
Is that really
on?
Yep.
It is
a great
on.
name.
Thanks.
Aaron Story 1. That's me. Aaron Story 1.
What are you guys playing? Mario Party?
No, I'm gonna dog walk him in NCAA.
Oh, that's good too.
This is where it begins. This is how it starts. The false bravado, the idea that he's just going to walk all over me when I just picked the game up for the first time ever, and it took him until the last play of the game to beat.
Last play of the game. That was a great one.
Training camp.
That was a great
2
one.
years ago? Was that 2 years ago?
2 years ago, because I forgot it this year when we went up to Green Bay for the house. Yeah. Man, those are good times.
Good times.
I just love that name, Radio Clown 78. I thought you were kidding it, That's brilliant. I love that.
Perfect.
Well, thanks.
Easy to find.
That is.
Easy to find.
Way better than the God 78 that I made in high school.
with an A, THA?
THA, GAWD.
Right.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, the best was last night I was online playing some dude who is clearly a Bears fan. Because, it starts in Lambeau and blah, blah, blah. And guys instantly on the mic going, screw the Packers. Only say he's not saying screw. Screw the Packers. Screw the Packers. The Bears are going to walk you. They're going to kill you. They took the North. The Bears. Guy is playing with the Patriots. I'm like, oh, so you want Drake May.
Oh, exactly. You wanted to redraft.
And then he was like, oh, no, I will. No, well, your organization made the wrong call with your quarterback. You got a good one, but there's a better one out there in New England, and you know it. And you just exposed yourself.
They did it again. Although this time, twice as nice, because just wait till Jaden Daniels' redemption tour next year.
Oh, baby. Cannot wait. Can't wait. We got more to come here at the end of another lively Carry the G Radio. That's Billy and Armen. I'm Aaron. More to come right after this.
Stay tuned.
Yes.
DND will be back in just a moment.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1975.
In June of 75, the Bee Gees released the LP Main Course, featuring a more dance-oriented sound, and delivered 3 hit singles, including the number 1 Jive Talkin'. In July, Fleetwood Mac shake things up. They add Americans Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks to the lineup and have a number 1 album. And Wings released the album Venus and Mars, which goes to number 1. Their U.S. tour features Paul McCartney's first live appearance in the U.S. since 1966.
Love is fine for all we know. For all we know, our love will grow. That's what the man said. Don't you listen to what the man said. He said.
In August of 75, the Eagles' 4th album goes to number 1 and has 3 top 5 singles, including the number 1 title track, One of These Nights. And the boss, Bruce Springsteen, is featured on the cover of Time magazine, and Born to Run becomes his breakthrough album, reaching number 3 in the U.S.
Come on with the chance like us. Baby, we were born to run.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1975. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight from 1977.
In February of 77, 60s band leader Manfred Mann has a new band and scores a U.S. #1 hit with a cover of Bruce Springsteen's song Blinded by the Light. In March, Foreigner released their debut album. It goes to #4 in the U.S., driven by 2 top 10 singles, Cold as Ice and Feels Like the First Time. Philadelphia blue-eyed soul duo Hall & Oates have their first U.S. #1 with Rich Girl from their 5th album, Bigger Than the Both of Us. Fleetwood Mac's album Rumors is released. It's their second #1 album in a row in the U.S., dominating the charts at #1 for 31 weeks. It spawns 4 top 10 singles, including the #1 Dreams.
When the rain washes you clean, you know.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1977. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1974.
For the band on the run. Band on the run.
In January of 1974, the top-selling album of the year is released, Paul McCartney and Wings' Band on the Run. Bob Dylan, backed by the band, has his first #1 album with Planet Waves. In February, Jersey City's Kool and the Gang have a top 5 hit with Jungle Boogie. New York City's Kiss released their debut, which sells 75,000 copies without a hit single. In March of 74, Canadian band Rush released their debut album, Get a New Drummer, and go on their first U.S. tour. David Essex has the first of many top 10 hits in the UK and his only U.S. hit with the single Rock On, which goes to #5. And Steely Dan hit the top 5 with the single Ricky Don't Lose That Number and have a top 10 album too with Pretzel Logic.
Ricky, don't lose that number. It's the only one you want. You might use it if you feel better when you get home.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1974. Coming up.
Carry the G Radio, wrapping things up here, entering week 18. Week 18. We're going to be here doing week 19 before you know it. Roger Goodell gets his way. Week 20 will be here if they get that second bye week, which they should.
So I've got a couple of ideas here, and we did try to solve all the world's problems on our drive home on Saturday night.
As one does.
Myself and Drew Olson. I do like the idea, and it's a real out there one. I like the 20 games, all regular season, no more preseason, only active for 16 weeks. But because then you get actual inventory that the league wants to sell and will sell to the network partners. And it'll even if you know that Jordan Love's not going to play in 3 or 4 games, people are still watching. They'll watch it a lot more than they'll watch any preseason football game. So I think that's a real viable possibility. But if they do the 18 games, there's no chance you can do it without 2 buys because these guys are just falling apart later into the year.
I mean,
but does the league really care about that?
No,
I mean,
of course not. Look,
they want every game indoors, and they want every game. Yeah,
those games were dogs.
I don't care.
All of them, and they don't. People still watch.
NFL's still king, because of multiple reasons, fantasy, gambling, whatever have you. But the reality is the NFL wants every game indoors, and they want us to play every weekend for a full calendar year. They don't care about holidays, family, any of that stuff. No, they don't care about it.
I like that you put holidays in front of family.
I saw there was an athletic article about how about all the people have to work now on holidays in the media. I
cry me a freaking river.
Seen.
Part of the gig, man. Go work in a cubicle and have Saturdays off. That's all I'm saying. It's up to you. These are choices you make.
When are games on? When people are at home.
That's when you work. welcome to the gig.
That's it. Yep.
All right.
Armen
I mean,
hates
look,
this
I
one.
get it.
No,
I understand
hey,
it's tough
wow.
sometimes with family and everything, but man, Corey was talking this junk the other day, and I'm like, man, no one's making you do this. We chose to do this.
Nope, life we chose. You get to.
You can choose to do it and still ask for a better way, but that's okay. Hey, listen, the NFL is our religion now, so that's what it is. I mean, we bow down to the altar.
See, now you said earlier about all the games being played indoors. Man, it does
that's
feel like
true.
that's where we're heading. Like, I got to admit, there was a time like 5 years ago where I was like, this is everyone talking about domes. Like, football is meant to be played outdoors. Like, this is never going to go away. Feels like it's going away. The way it's trending.
We could be the last one.
I mean, Buffalo, thank goodness, with their new stadium,
That's true.
keeps it open air. Like, I applaud that decision, especially since my tax dollars are going to help fund it.
They're coming to get you.
No, like literally, my tax money is helping the Bills build that stadium. But I'm glad that they've kept it open air. Like, the elements are part of the game, or always have been, until we get to 2029, 30, what have you. And like, I think there are going to be a very, 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 very few stadiums left that deal with the elements.
I also think my favorite part is this belief that everybody gets the Super Bowl. Well, you get a new stadium, you get a Super Bowl.
Get one, maybe.
Guys, I got really bad news for Kansas City, Kansas.
Yes.
They're not putting a Super Bowl in Kansas. Like, they're not playing the Super Bowl in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Like, I'm sorry. Like, there's levels to this. They'll play one in Denver. They'll absolutely play one in Denver. They'll play multiple in Denver, especially with that dome, because the building will in the city will be phenomenal. But like, you might get one, sure, but you're also only getting one, and it's not coming back. And I'm sorry, they're not going to Kansas. Like,
right.
The best thing you got is kicking some ruby slippers and hoping that there's no place like home. They're not playing a home Super Bowl there like they might be doing in Santa Clara this year.
We're still waiting for an NBA All-Star game in Milwaukee.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, I'm stunned. They didn't bring the dunk contest to Milwaukee.
Got Brody up here in the chat, sneaking one in before we got to get going.
Come on, Brody.
Last offseason question, future DE2 opposite 1, meaning opposite Micah Parsons, obviously. I'll tell you what, I don't think it's going to be Rashawn Gary.
Yeah.
That's about the only thing I'm pretty certain of. Now, Enigbari, I know, has made some noise. Do they re-sign him? Again, I'd be surprised. I think they'll continue to develop, draft guys, and that'll be that. Now, hopefully there's some edge out there in the draft that they can target in the second, third round, what have you. But I don't see them committing huge resources cap-wise to guys already on the roster.
No, I mean, well, don't worry. The internet's going to tell you Colin Oliver's going to have 5 sacks of Max Brosmer this week, so maybe he'll be the DN2.
That'd be great, baby Micah. Let's go.
I would venture to agree with you. Like, it feels like Lucas Van Ness, everything that was loading for this year for biggest moment of your career. Well, they're not going to pick up the 5th-year option this year.
No,
and then he's going to walk into a free agent in a contract year. And I don't know what the science or the math about it is, but players play better in a contract year. And I would assume they start rolling that again, where you're gonna start rolling with another red shirt probably next year that starts training in progress to take over that spot, because you can only pay so many guys, and at the same position you can really only pay one if you're gonna pay Micah Parsons $47 million.
Big time. It's all going to start this Sunday in Minnesota when Colin Oliver takes down J.J. McCarthy 3 times. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Cannot wait. And I cannot wait to be back here with you guys next week to talk about it all. Carry the G Radio back next week. Thanks to Billy, Armen. I'm Aaron. Talk to you guys after a big victory in Minnesota.
Let's go.
All she wants to do is